Well, the Dream Center in Los Angeles began as a local church with just 39 members and a dream. Today, it provides food, shelter, spiritual guidance, and other services, listen to this, to over 40,000 people every single week. And it has a worldwide impact. Take a look.
My mother and father fought a lot. That's the first memories I had.
I came from a real broken home. There was a lot of domestic violence. I got sexually molested at a young age.
The divorce caused my parents to use me against each other. As time went on, I used drugs to escape reality.
In my early 20s, I got pregnant with a little girl. By the time she was 5, I ended up getting her taken. There was a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in my heart because I couldn't seem to shake this drug addiction.
I went to 6 different rehabs, all in 7 months.
Every single time, always ended up right back in my mess.
My pastor told me about the LA Dream Center.
There's so many words that I could use to describe this amazing place, but I think the one that pops out in my mind is hopeful. You know, we are hopeful for people's lives here. We believe in second chances.
I found the ability to forgive my mother. I found the ability to forgive my father. And I was finally able to have that chance in life to where I could overcome those issues and those roots of bitterness and resentments that I wasn't able to let go of.
Please welcome the founder of the Dream Center and the best-selling author of this book, The Church That Never Sleeps, and his latest book, this one, One Small Step. Pastor Matthew Barnett, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's good to be with you. Thank you.
Matthew, I have been to the Dream Center. I remember touring with you. It's been a few years ago. I got to tell you, I was blown away by what I saw. Never seen anything like it. There's nothing like this on planet Earth. You started with a simple vision that you were going to reach out and go out there for the people that nobody else wanted.
Yeah.
Where did that vision come from anyway?
Well, my dad received a building in downtown LA for someone to come over and take over the church. And an inner city church that had gone through some hard times, was getting ready to be sold. And the Assemblies of God just wanted somebody to take it over. And so my dad got in a car and he took a bunch of pastors and wanted to see if one of them wanted to take the church in the middle of one of the biggest gang ravaged communities in Los Angeles. When they saw the neighborhood, every single one of them said, I don't feel led of the Lord to come here.
It was Nineveh, huh?
No, exactly. And I was sitting in the back at 20 years of age. My dad said, would you come and help me pastor this church for 3 months until I find a real pastor?
You were 20 years old.
Yeah, and now it's 26 years later, and we're still looking for the real pastor right now. You know, we're still, maybe it's here, I don't know.
Hey, Matthew, I think they have found him, and it's you, pal.
26 years in that
That's
city.
incredible.
Yeah.
When I hear numbers like 40,000 people a week, it's hard to get your arms around just the impact of the ministry that the Dream Center has. And let's talk about the fact, it's not like any other church that anyone's seen. It's not like, okay, we have Sunday services at, 9, 10, and 11. This is a 24-hour-a-day operation. What do you do there?
It is. It's open 24 hours a day. If you can imagine a big old hospital that sits on the Hollywood freeway, the most strategic land in all of America, that never closes, that outlasts the liquor stores, that outlasts the pimps, that outlasts everything the last 25 years, it still stands. And there's 750 people that live there every day who are coming off of drugs and alcohol free of charge, homeless families, homeless veterans, emancipated minors, human trafficking victims, all live in this building for free. And one thing the Dream Center is able to do is we give people the luxury of time. We give them time to rebuild their life, to get out of the chaos. And so we give them a year or even 2 years, whatever it takes. We can do things that even the government can't do because we feel called to that area. And so it takes people years sometimes to get through the layers of trauma and addiction in their life. And rather than a 30-day fix, we give them a long-term strategy. And so we've seen crime drop 73% in our neighborhood. We saw 50 people in 1 month sentenced to the Dream Center for 1 year instead of the prison system.
The court sent them there.
Yes, for 10 year sentences down to 1 year. So in our church, we got ex-pimps, we got ex-murderers, and that's just a pastoral staff. That's not including everybody else we got going on, And but it's everything I never thought I would do. I was not trained in this ministry, no cross-cultural evangelism, nothing. I just showed up, put a desk outside the sidewalk and a bag of food and a telephone, and I gave that away. I took one small step of just serving people, and little did I realize we would end up in one of the most strategic places in all of America.
You're doing something out there at the Dream Center that I think really represents what I read about when I read about what Jesus did. He never gave up on people. You don't give up on people. I mean, a lot of times, even traditional churches, they'll work with somebody and they'll finally say, that's it, we're done. You're never done with people.
Yeah.
You don't give up on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just blown away by the fact that you're willing to love them and keep loving them, even when they keep messing up.
We believe that God doesn't destroy people in rock bottom. The world does, but God recreates people in rock bottom. And that's what we see when people come into our life. They come in, they think it's over, only to be touched by God's love and presence, and they realize my life has just begun. And so it's, if you think about Hollywood, riot buildings right next to the Hollywood sign, right underneath it. And I look at it every single day, and I think about all the people who have lost their dreams when they've come to this city. And then I think about all the people who stumbled into our building, sometimes strung out, hung over, and then God starts to recreate them into everything they never thought they would be when they came into the city of Los Angeles.
And if you called it the Los Angeles Church of Hope, a lot of these people would never show up because they would feel like, I can't go in there. I'll never make it. Where'd you get the name Dream Center?
Well, the people in the neighborhood called it. They just started coming down to get food, and some of the youth were playing basketball in our gym, and they said, hey, man, go down there. That's where your dreams will come true. And I heard that a couple times, and I said, well, I guess the people in the neighborhood are labeling the Dream Center and calling it what it is. And so it's just been an unbelievable situation. You know, 26 years, there's been times where people say, there's no way in the world you can survive in a city of Los Angeles. But one thing I do know is when you defend the cause of the poor, God is obligated to get behind it and to defend that cause. And I think that's why the church, there's many times I'm like, man, Los Angeles is such a hard place to be. We can sell this building, go somewhere else and do something really big. But then there's something called the call of God that just won't let me go all these years.
You have also inspired other people to do Dream Centers in how many cities now?
140 cities.
140 places across the world where they're doing Dream Centers.
That's right.
That is incredible. You have a book out, it's called One Small Step, and I love the concept. It's that God sometimes will give us nudges, little nudges. What do you mean by a nudge from God? What is that?
There's so many things that God, speaks to our heart to do that are outside our comfort zone that we talk ourselves out of. And I think this book is really to inspire people to say yes to more things that are different from what they're capable of doing. Like, for example, me coming to LA and starting inner city church. Well, that's not something that normally I would do. But the nudge of the Holy Spirit, I stepped out and my whole life changed and the scenery of my life changed when I simply stopped justifying all the things I couldn't do and started saying yes to the things that were possible.
You know, sometimes a person may get a nudge to just go up and pay the check for someone who's standing in line at the Waffle House and just say, I got that. That's a nudge, isn't it?
That's what the book's really trying to do, is just kind of unleash radical acts of kindness and really radical acts of God's heart in this generation that we're living in right now. And so I think it's a really appropriate book. It released on the week when LA got shut down, the whole world got shut down. But at the same time, I think this book will last for years and years to come because it's simply about the reputation of Jesus. The biography of his life was he went about doing good. And when it's all said and done, people won't know us by any our church buildings or our labels, but they can look at us and say, those are the people who went about and did good.
I think the title of the book, One Small Step, is what makes it so powerful. People are sometimes thinking, I can't do anything big. I'm no hero. I don't have a great big platform. And what you're telling them in the book is that just a small step. God nudges you to just go up to somebody and say, hey, I just want you to know that's a beautiful smile you have. Just something simple. It's one small step, and everybody can be sensitive to that.
Yeah, and it's living a life of just being intentional, getting up every single day and living your life with the head on a swivel, looking for ways to make a difference. This crowd's been doing that all day. They've been clapping and cheering. And, they just energize people. And I think there's so many ways that every day that we think that we have to do something big, that serving's a journey, and that one day I'll get to this great place to where I've arrived. It's constantly it's an everyday thing of living your life, dying to your flesh, and looking for ways to be a blessing, looking for ways to serve your generation. And that's what we try to unleash at the Dream Center. I tell people all the time, take a step in the rehab program. They say, I can't give God a year. I can't be clean for a year. I give him 24 hours to see what happens. And so when people start stepping out into the unknown, anything becomes possible when something is in God's hand.
Matthew, having seen it firsthand, I can tell you it's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. God clearly has his hand on you and the Dream Center. Your wonderful father, Tommy Barnett, who's just one of the greatest men of God, I think, that we've ever known in this country. I hope people get the book because it's not about you, it's about them. It's about the one small step that every single person in his or her life can take just to do something that may not seem big, but the impact of a small step could be extraordinary. and I hope you'll get this amazing book by a great, great leader, Matthew Barnett. Keith Bilbrey, can we learn more about the Dream Center and get involved with this amazing ministry, or maybe even find out how to start a Dream Center in our own communities? If so, you tell us how.
I would be glad to. Discover more about the Dream Center and how you can participate. Just visit dreamcenter.org. You can find the pastor online at matthewbarnett.com and all his books, including One Small Step, available at amazon.com and your favorite booksellers.